Welcome to Weird History Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Carter. In the heart of the Italian Renaissance, a period imbued with profound intellectual and artistic innovation, a peculiar artist emerged from the shadows. He was known to his contemporaries as Maestro dell'Epidermia, the master of the epidermis. His true identity has been lost to the sands of time, but his work, bizarre and chilling, still echoes through the annals of art history. He was not a sculptor of marble, nor a painter of canvas. Rather, his medium was something far more unusual and unsettling: human skin. The master of the epidermis was a contemporary of such luminaries as Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. While they painted scenes of biblical grandeur and sculpted figures of divine proportion, he pursued a different kind of beauty, one born from the very fabric of human existence. His creations were nothing short of macabre masterpieces, painted on the most intimate of canvases, the skin of his fellow man. Though documentation from the period is sparse, what we do know comes from a handful of surviving letters and diaries. They paint a picture of a man who was as much a scientist as he was an artist. He was fascinated by the texture of skin, its resilience, its ability to tell a story of a life lived. Each wrinkle, each blemish, was to him a testament of human experience. His process was as extraordinary as the final product. He would procure his canvas from local physicians, who provided him with the skins of the recently deceased. The skin would be stretched over a wooden frame and meticulously cleaned and prepared. He would then apply his pigments with an almost surgical precision, creating works of art that were hauntingly lifelike. The subjects of his portraits were as varied as the people whose skin he used. He painted noblemen and paupers, saints and sinners, each with an equal measure of respect and reverence. His works were not simply portraits, but rather they were tributes to the lives of the individuals he painted. For the master of the epidermis, the skin was not merely a canvas, but a testament to the very essence of the individual. His work, though undoubtedly morbid, was not created to shock or horrify. Rather, it was a profound exploration of the human condition, a celebration of life and death, and a reminder of our own mortality. The master of the epidermis sought to capture not just the physical likeness of his subjects, but their very souls, immortalizing them in a way no other artist of his time dared to attempt. The master of the epidermis remains a mysterious figure, his story shrouded in the whispers of history. Yet his legacy, though unconventional and controversial, is a testament to the audacious spirit of the Renaissance, a period that celebrated humanism in all its forms, even in its most macabre expressions. His work serves as a haunting reminder that art, in its purest form, can transcend the ordinary and touch upon the profound, the intimate, the mortal. The master of the epidermis's approach was not only unique but also a deft blend of art and science. His studio doubled as an anatomy lab, filled with the paraphernalia of both an artist and a scientist. Sketches of human anatomy adorned the walls, next to meticulous diagrams of how to prepare and preserve the skin for painting. His letters reveal a man consumed by an insatiable curiosity about the human body, its beauty, its fragility, and its endurance. The process of preparing the skin was a delicate one, requiring a steady hand and a keen eye. The skin was first soaked in a solution of lime and water to remove the hair and fat. After being stretched to dry for several days, it was then treated with a mixture of alum and salt, a process known as tanning, which would give the skin its durability and resistance to decay. What followed was a painstaking process of priming the skin. The master of the epidermis would coat the skin in a layer of gesso, a white paint mixture consisting of a binder mixed with chalk, gypsum, or white pigment. Once dried, the skin was ready for the application of paints, a mixture of ground pigments and binders that the master had carefully crafted himself. These paints were applied with an array of brushes, each one designed to capture a different aspect of the human form. Broad brushes were used for the base layer of paint, while finer brushes were used for details like facial features and clothing. The smallest, most delicate brushes were reserved for the most intricate parts of the portrait, such as the eyes, the lips, and the fine lines and wrinkles that marked the passage of time on the subject's face. The master of the epidermis portraits are striking in their realism. The skin, once prepared and painted, has a quality that no canvas could replicate. The texture, the color, the way the light reflects off it, it is hauntingly lifelike. The subjects of his portraits stare back at the viewer with an intensity that is almost unnerving, their eyes seeming to hold a lifetime of stories. These were not just portraits of the deceased, they were relics of the person they once were, a tangible reminder of their existence. The master of the epidermis didn't just paint on skin, he painted life and death, joy and sorrow, love and loss. Through his art, he sought to immortalize the human experience in a way that was both deeply personal and universally relatable. Yet, for all its shock value, the work of the master of the epidermis was not about spectacle or exploitation. His art was an exploration of the human condition, a bold statement about the transience of life, and a tribute to the resilience of the human spirit. His works stand as a chilling yet profound testament to the audacity of the Renaissance, an era of unprecedented artistic freedom and bold experimentation. Moving on from the audacious artistry of the Renaissance, we now turn our attention to an equally audacious episode from the annals of papal history. The year was 1045, and the man of the hour was Pope Benedict X, a pontiff whose reign was as controversial as it was unconventional. His story is not one of divine inspiration or saintly virtue, but rather a tale as human and flawed as any other. Benedict IX was the youngest pope in history, assuming the papal throne at the tender age of 20, and his reign was marked by scandal and corruption. Yet it was not his youthful indiscretions that captured the attention of history, but rather the manner of his departure from the Holy See. In an unprecedented move, he sold the papacy to his godfather in order to marry the woman he loved. The selling of the papacy, a sacred office, was shocking enough, but it was Benedict IX's actions following this that truly captured the imagination. After relinquishing his papal duties, he reportedly donned the simple robes of a monk and retreated into a life of obscurity. The image of a former pope, once resplendent in the ornate papal regalia, now clad in the austere attire of a monk, is a powerful one. It's a stark reminder of the transient nature of power and the enduring allure of love and simplicity. This unexpected transition from pope to monk is fascinating not just for its shock value, but for what it reveals about the church and society of the time. The fact that a pope could simply sell his office, dress as a monk, and disappear into the annals of history raises questions about the nature of power, the sanctity of religious office, and the societal norms of the era. The tale of Pope Benedict IX is a fascinating chapter in the narrative of the papacy, a tale that challenges our preconceived notions about the infallibility of religious leaders. It serves as a reminder that beneath the ornate robes and sacred titles, popes are, after all, human, susceptible to the same desires, failings, and dreams as anyone else. While the story of Benedict IX might seem far removed from our modern world, it remains incredibly relevant. It forces us to confront our own assumptions about power and authority, and it reminds us that even the most exalted among us are still, at their core, simply human. So we leave behind the image of a young pope, garbed in the humble robes of a monk, disappearing into the mists of time. Yet his story lingers, a curious tale from a distant past that continues to resonate in the present, a testament to the enduring complexity of the human experience. The radical shift in attire and lifestyle that Benedict IX undertook is a captivating spectacle within itself. The contrast between the lavish vestments of the Pope, heavily adorned with religious symbols and the finest materials, and the austere garb of the monk, a simple robe often made of rough, plain cloth, is staggering. This contrast is more than just sartorial. It represents the profound transformation in his life, a shift from the heights of ecclesiastical power to a life of humble obscurity. Benedict, once the supreme pontiff, the visible head of the Catholic Church, now wearing the attire of a monk, would have been a stark and confounding sight. The monk's habit, with its simple cut and lack of adornment, is a potent symbol of humility, penitence, and devotion to a life of poverty and prayer. It's a garb meant to strip away vanity and pride, to mute the individual and foreground the spiritual, the communal. This was the cloth Benedict chose to wrap himself in, a clear departure from the grandeur and opulence he was accustomed to as pope. The world Benedict IX stepped into as a monk was vastly different from the one he had known as pope. Monastic life in the 11th century was characterized by strict adherence to rules of prayer, work, silence, and obedience. This was a far cry from his existence as pope, which, apart from its spiritual duties, was replete with political maneuvering and worldly concerns. It was a life that required discipline, simplicity, and a commitment to the divine over the temporal. Benedict IX's transition from pope to monk is intriguing, not just for its novelty, but for the questions it raises about identity and transformation. How does one adapt from a life of power and influence to one of austerity and humility? How does one reconcile the memories of a past filled with opulence and authority, with a present defined by discipline and simplicity? The narrative of Benedict IX's life is one of dramatic contrasts and profound transformations. It's a story that transcends the man himself and provides a unique lens through which to view the complexities of this period in history. Benedict's journey from pope to monk is a powerful commentary on the ephemeral nature of power, the allure of love, and the enduring appeal of simplicity. His life, despite its many contradictions, continues to resonate through the centuries, a fascinating testament to the complexities of human nature and the unpredictability of fate. As we delve deeper into the folds of history, we uncover a chapter that is as electrifying as it is unexpected. In the early 20th century, a cult emerged that dedicated itself to the worship of a force pivotal to modern life: electricity. The Voltaic Church of the Revitalized Current, as it was known, believed that electricity was not just a physical phenomenon, but a divine power. The sect was founded by a former electrical engineer named Albert Fitzsimmons. Struck by a bolt of lightning and surviving against all odds, Fitzsimmons claimed to have been imbued with prophetic insights. He interpreted his electric encounter as a divine revelation, a sign that electricity was the life force that pulsed through the universe, connecting and energizing all things. Fitzsimmons began to preach his electrifying gospel in the back rooms of electrical workshops and the basements of power stations. He held rituals at dawn when the first light of day brought the promise of a new current. His followers would gather around humming transformers and sparking generators to pray, their chants rising and falling in rhythm with the pulsating electrical currents. The Voltaic Church was not without its shocking practices. One of the most bizarre was the baptism by lightning. A chosen disciple would ascend a metallic tower during a thunderstorm, arms outstretched towards the roiling skies in a plea for divine connection. The congregation would watch from a safe distance, their breaths held in anticipation of the electrifying strike. If the disciple survived, they were believed to have been chosen by the divine current, their bodies irradiated with holy electricity. Fitzsimmons himself was said to have undergone this ritual multiple times, his body scarred with a network of Lichtenberg figures, the intricate fern-like patterns left by lightning strikes. Followers believed these marks were divine tattoos, a sacred script written by the hand of the electric god. As the years passed, the Voltaic Church faded into obscurity. The advent of electrical safety regulations and the increasing understanding of electricity's physical nature led to its decline. Yet the cult's existence stands as a potent testament to humanity's quest for connection and understanding, a symbol of our capacity to imbue the natural world with a sense of the divine. The story of the Voltaic Church of the Revitalized Current illuminates a fascinating facet of human belief, a testament to our capacity for wonder. It serves as a reminder that our perception of the world is not a fixed reality, but a constantly evolving narrative shaped by our experiences, knowledge, and the ceaseless march of time. Among the many fascinating aspects of the Voltaic Church, the ritual of electric communion comes to mind. This was a sacred rite, held in the deepest secrecy, where the highest-ranking members of the church gathered to commune directly with the divine current. In a dimly lit room filled with the hum and crackle of electricity, the members arranged themselves in a human circuit. Each participant held a copper wire in their left hand, connecting them to their neighbor, and a light bulb in their right. Fitzsimmons would then throw a switch, sending a carefully controlled current through the assembled members. As the current passed through their bodies, the light bulbs they held would flicker and glow, a visible manifestation of their connection with the divine current. It was said that in these moments, the members could hear the voice of the electric god, whispering secrets of the universe in the language of crackling sparks and buzzing wires. Yet even in their fervor, the Voltaic Church was not without practicality. Fitzsimmons, an electrician by trade, carefully calculated the voltage to ensure it was just enough to illuminate the bulbs without causing harm. The members wore rubber-soled shoes to protect themselves from grounding, and the room was filled with the scent of ozone and the faint tang of fear. Perhaps the most shocking aspect of the voltaic church was its conclusion. In a final act of devotion, Fitzsimmons planned to transform himself into pure energy, to merge with the divine current and ascend to a higher plane of existence. He constructed a massive capacitor, a device capable of storing an enormous amount of electrical energy. Fitzsimmons intended to charge this device and then discharge it through his own body, in the belief that the resulting surge of electricity would transform him into pure energy. The day of his ascension arrived. Fitzsimmons climbed onto the capacitor, arms outstretched, and discharged the stored energy. There was an ear-shattering crack, a blinding flash of light, and then silence. When the smoke cleared, Fitzsimmons was gone. His followers claimed he had ascended, his corporeal form replaced by pure electric energy, forever part of the divine current. The voltaic church of the revitalized current serves as a poignant reminder of humanity's relentless pursuit of understanding and connection, of our ability to perceive and interpret the world in ways that resonate with our deepest beliefs and fears. Its story is a testament to the power of belief, an exploration of the fine line between faith and fanaticism, and a reflection of our enduring fascination with the unknown. As the remnants of the voltaic church faded into obscurity, another equally perplexing event was beginning to unfold in the small town of Divide, Colorado. The year was 1998, and the community members were about to exercise their democratic rights in a way that would make headlines across the nation. The protagonist of this tale? A rooster named Pa Kettle. Pa Kettle was not your ordinary rooster. He was a charismatic creature, with a fiery red comb atop his head that seemed to mirror his spirited personality. His crowing, resonating through the valleys, was a familiar anthem to the inhabitants of Divide, and his vibrant plumage was a sight to behold. For reasons lost to history, the town of Divide decided to elect its first honorary mayor. The candidates were not the usual assortment of local politicians or business leaders. Instead, they were the beloved pets and livestock of the town's residents. Among these unusual candidates, it was Pa Kettle who rose above the rest, driven by a campaign that was as eccentric as the election itself. The campaign was a spectacle, filled with colorful yard signs, lively debates, and even a parade. Pa Kettle's owners, Teresa and Tom Percy, campaigned vigorously on his behalf. They highlighted his dedication to the town, his punctuality in heralding each new day, and even his keen sense of weather prediction. The rooster, they claimed, was more reliable than the local weatherman, often crowing louder before major storms. The day of the election arrived, and the residents of Divide cast their votes. The count was unanimous. Pa Kettle, the resplendent rooster, was elected as the first honorary mayor of Divide, Colorado. This was no mere jest. The role came with responsibilities. Pa Kettle attended community events, led parades, and was even present at town council meetings, where his crowing was taken as thoughtful commentary. His tenure was marked by a sense of unity and joviality that brought the community closer together. The election of a rooster as mayor may seem absurd, but it was a testament to the unique spirit of Divide. It was a playful nod to the town's rural roots and a celebration of the quirks and eccentricities that make it distinct. More importantly, it was a reminder that democracy, in its purest form, is about representing the voice of the people, no matter how unconventional those voices, or crows, may be. Pa Kettle's reign ended with his natural death in 2002, but his legacy persists, a vibrant feather in the cap of Colorado's unique history. Perhaps the most bewildering part of this story is not that a rooster was elected mayor of Divide, but that the town wholeheartedly embraced the spectacle. Pa Kettle was not treated as a novelty or a joke, but as a genuine representative of the town. His crowing, while unintelligible to human ears, was considered as meaningful as any human speech. In fact, many residents claimed that Pa Kettle's crowing was more honest than any political speech they had heard. The local newspaper, the Divide Gazette, covered Mayor Kettle's activities with the same seriousness as any other political matter. The paper reported on his public appearances, his participation in town meetings, and even his crowing, which the Gazette referred to as his speeches. The newspaper's editor, Jim Sutton, said it was the Gazette's duty to treat Mayor Kettle as the legitimate leader that he was. This was not some outlandish performance for the amusement of outsiders, but a sincere expression of the town's culture. The people of Divide were not making a mockery of politics, they were celebrating their unique way of life and their beloved rooster. They used the election to bring about a sense of unity and community in the town. The sight of Mayor Kettle leading a parade or crowing at a town council meeting was a symbol of the town's solidarity and pride. Yet it was not just the people of Divide who took Mayor Kettle seriously. The rooster's election attracted media attention from across the country. Reporters from major newspapers and television stations descended on the small Colorado town, eager to cover the story. They huddled around Mayor Kettle, microphones extended, as if expecting him to give a press conference. The rooster seemed unperturbed by the attention, continuing to crow and strut with an air of authority. The reaction of the wider world was a mix of amusement and bewilderment. Some saw it as a charming, if quirky, tale of a small town's eccentricities. Others questioned the wisdom of electing a rooster to political office. Yet, the citizens of Divide remained unfazed by the criticism. They continued to support Mayor Kettle wholeheartedly, believing that he represented their town better than any human ever could. The story of Pa Kettle, the rooster mayor, is more than just an amusing anecdote. It is a testament to the power of community, the importance of culture, and the sometimes surprising forms that democracy can take. It serves as a reminder that politics can be more than just power struggles and policy debates. Sometimes it can be a rooster crowing at the dawn, a symbol of unity and pride for a small town nestled in the mountains of Colorado. Through this extraordinary chapter in their history, the people of Divide, Colorado, demonstrated that even the most unconventional voices can have a profound impact on a community. The 16th of July, 1945, a day that would forever be etched in the annals of history. The stillness of the New Mexico desert was shattered in the early morning hours as a blinding flash of light illuminated the horizon. The sun, it seemed, had risen twice that day. The first with the natural rhythm of the universe, the second, a creation of humanity's striving for power and knowledge. This was the day of the Trinity test, the first detonation of a nuclear weapon. The moment the weapon detonated, the sky turned a fiery orange, and a shock wave that could be felt over 100 miles away rolled across the desert. As the initial brightness faded, a monstrous mushroom cloud began to climb into the stratosphere, reaching an altitude of over 40,000 feet within minutes. The spectacle was both eerily beautiful and terrifying, symbolizing a new era of destructive capability. Those who were present at the site were left in awe and fear. Robert Oppenheimer, the scientific director of the Manhattan Project, recalled the event with a quote from the Hindu scripture Bhagavad Gita, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." The sentiment encapsulated the dread of the Pandora's box they had opened, a technology that held the power to annihilate entire cities in a flash of light and heat. The landscape itself bore the scars of the detonation. Ground Zero was transformed into a crater nearly half a mile wide. The desert sand, subjected to extreme heat, had turned into a greenish glass-like substance now known as trinitite. The fauna and flora within the immediate vicinity were obliterated, leaving behind a barren wasteland. Whether viewed as a scientific triumph or a harbinger of destruction, the day the sun rose twice was a turning point in human history. The scale of this event was unprecedented, its ramifications echoing through the corridors of power around the world. It marked the dawn of the atomic age, a period defined by a delicate balance of power and an omnipresent fear of nuclear annihilation. The Trinity test was not just an experiment, it was a statement of power. It demonstrated the colossal might that humanity had harnessed, a force that could either fuel progress or bring about unprecedented destruction. What had once been the realm of science fiction was now a terrifying reality. As the glowing mushroom cloud faded into the dawn sky, the world had unknowingly stepped into a new epoch. The day the sun rose twice was a stark reminder of the duality of human intellect, the capacity to create and to destroy, to illuminate and to obliterate, coexisting in a delicate, ominous balance. The day the sun rose twice, a second dawn that loomed over the New Mexico desert, did not just startle the physical world, but also sent shockwaves through the fabric of human understanding. A few hours after the explosion, the skies glowed with an unnatural luminescence, a hauntingly beautiful after-effect caused by the ionized particles in the atmosphere. While this phenomenon lasted only a short while, it was etched into the minds of those who witnessed it. The event left a lasting imprint, not just on the desert landscape, but also on the millions of people who would later come to know of it. The shockwave of the blast was felt up to 100 miles away, shattering windows and jarring the earth. Those who were closer to the epicenter described feeling a heat wave, as if the air itself had caught fire. They spoke of a deafening roar that seemed to roll across the desert floor, a roar that was heard as far away as Alamogordo, the closest town. In the days following the test, local residents reported a mysterious sickness, later identified as symptoms of radiation exposure. Livestock, too, showed signs of radiation sickness, their wool falling off in clumps, their eyes clouded by cataracts. The fallout drifted as far as Indiana, tainting the soil, the water, and the air, and leading to increased cancer rates in the years to come. The colossal mushroom cloud, rising majestically into the stratosphere, left a lasting image of the horrifying power that humanity had unleashed. It was a sight that would be repeated in the years to come, in Japan, in the Nevada desert, and in the remote atolls of the Pacific, a grim testament to the destructive capability of the atomic age. Yet, amid the destruction, there was a perverse kind of beauty. The intense light, the thunderous sound, the awe-inspiring mushroom cloud, all spoke of a power beyond human comprehension. It was a spectacle that was at once terrifying and mesmerizing, a paradox that captured the essence of the atomic age. The day the sun rose twice was a stark revelation of humanity's potential for both creation and destruction. It was a moment that marked the beginning of a new era. An era in which the power to annihilate entire cities resided in the hands of a few. The world had stepped into the atomic age, and there was no turning back. The sun had risen twice, and its second dawn had cast long shadows that would shape the course of human history. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Weird History Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to Weird History Podcast on Spotify. Subscribe now.